Bem-vindo ao Future Enterprise Show. Neste episódio temos como convidado Alf Franzoni, vogal do Conselho de Administração e diretor do Global Business Services e Lisbon Tech Hub da Siemens. Esta conversa será conduzida por Fernando Bação, professor catedrático na Nova Information Management School, da Universidade Nova de Lisboa, e Gabriel Coimbra, Group Vice President and Country Manager da IDC. O Future Enterprise Show é oferecido pela IDC Portugal e pela nova IMS em parceria com a Nexcellence.
Bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Future Enterprise Show, uma iniciativa da IDC em parceria com a nova IMS e com o apoio da Nexcellence, um programa que pretende discutir os principais temas relacionados com o futuro das organizações numa economia cada vez mais digital. E Future Enterprise, ou Empresa do Futuro, é o termo da IDC, é a framework da IDC que olha para o futuro das organizações. Uma organização que se quer resiliente, ágil e capaz de inovar de uma forma contínua numa economia cada vez mais digital. Cada episódio temos uma conversa com uma personalidade que acreditamos que esteja ou a criar ou a transformar uma Future Enterprise ou a contribuir para o ecossistema de transformação digital em Portugal. E esse episódio temos um convidado muito especial, mas vou ter que passar para o inglês. Our guest is a very special guest here today with us, and he's responsible for a big service center in Portugal, and more recently he's been managing a tech hub in Portugal for a big international organization. But to present him, I have here my friend and co-host, Fernando. Fernando, please go ahead.
Obrigado, Gabriel. Okay, so welcome. Today I have the special pleasure of introducing Alf Franzoni, which is not only a great guest, but is also my friend and someone that I really appreciate and I look up to. He's the responsible for the global shared services of Siemens in Portugal. He's also responsible for the Lisbon Tech Hub, which is a great initiative and something that we are going to learn a little bit more about during this interview. Alf, thank you very much for accepting to be with us today. It's a huge pleasure to have you here. I'm sure it will be a great conversation, as always with you. Our first question, this is something that we ask frequently, which is you have now a long career in managing places mostly. You've been in Portugal for 10 years. I'm sure your Portuguese is perfect, right? But having this great career, what do you think is the trait or your characteristic that most contributed to your professional development and to your success, if you will?
Yeah, I go a couple of years back.
Okay.
I'm a German. I was growing up on a farm, and my father died as I was quite young. So really, I had to work hard at this time. It was 14, 15 years, and I liked to be a farmer. I liked it. Then there was the time coming. I went for studying. Then there was a time coming. Do I be a farmer in future, or do I do something else? So I decided I do something else. Then I was first working for a smaller company, and for me it was always important to take over responsibilities. This was for me key. Then one day I was a little fed up in this company, and I thought I will just put a couple of CVs outside in the market and see what's going on. Then a company like Siemens knocked on my door. It was a lovely sunny day, and I wanted to go there for 1 hour, right? Fast interview, go home, go for a swim. And then I was the whole day there. For 8 hours, they put me in all the different directions, right? And afterwards, I started for Siemens. At this time, very conservative. You know, you could not speak to the boss of your boss. And I hated this. And after a short time, I said, no, that's not me. And you know, now, a lot of years later, I'm still at Siemens. Things have changed tremendously. I believe we are a very cool company in the meantime. And again, I believe for me it's important, try to answer the question. So taking over responsibility and driving activities actively forward. This is important. These are, I guess, my strong points.
So taking the task at hand and seeing it through and taking responsibility for it. That's something that probably also comes from the farm, right? Because you don't have all these.
Sure.
You didn't have many people to help, so you had to take the responsibility. But now it's different because you are in a different position, but still with this responsibility. So it's great. You talked about Siemens, the long history of Siemens and how Siemens changed the culture. Now it's a completely different culture at Siemens. Can you share with us what is Siemens today worldwide and especially in Portugal? What is Siemens doing here and especially the business service center and the tech hub?
So maybe just on a global level first. Siemens went through a big transition. We're focused on the health business, aging people and customized kind of health activities for yourself. Then everything which is linked to Siemens core, which is industry and smart cities and mobility. And then last but not least, there was just a carve-out done for Siemens Energy, which is linked to energy business. So all in all, the energy business is completely outside of Siemens, minority shareholding from Siemens. But if you just take the Siemens core plus health in years, it's around about 60 billion. So not something small. People-wise, again, just looking after the four main pillars, close to 300,000. So also not too small there. What is really nice to see, so the complete, let's say, digitalization, transformation of Siemens. Because, if you go to the health business, if you go to Siemens core, or if you go to mobility, everything is linked to digitalization, which is what we want to do, right? Yeah. If you then see Siemens Portugal, since 115 years in Portugal.
A long time.
Quite a long time, yeah. Quite a long time. So it's really essential for us really to stay in the market in Portugal. So the business as such, and I'm not speaking now about GBS and also not the shared services and also not about Tech Hub. We speak about around about 300 million. So not tremendous big. 300. Now we have transformed GBS also in normal business, where we also want to provide external business. This counts as well now as Siemens business because we book revenues. This is another 50 million. We expect to grow next year by 20 million more. And then we have the Tech Hub, which is internal IT, if you want to say. But also there we transform. We work a lot with the business and try to help them to generate external business. There we speak about charging volume from around about 100 million. So all in all, quite significant footprint. And I came here from Spain, so best decision in my life, coming to Portugal from Spain.
For sure.
And at this time, 10 years ago, we were 80 people. 80. And now we are some more.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were interested in this interview was also to give a more accurate and more up-to-date look at Siemens, because Siemens, again, it's an old company. It has been around for
old sounds bad.
Old. It has been around for a long time. Let's say it like this. Not old, but. One of the things we would like to talk about is the services that you have under your supervision. Yeah. The global business services and also especially the Tech Hub. Because these have been developing very, very quickly in the last few years. Yeah. And these are the type of services that a country like Portugal really needs to have. So can you give us an idea of the size of the business and how it has evolved for the last few years? Yeah.
So if I get too excited, you have to stop me.
No, go ahead. We are excited too.
So as I said, I came here 10 years ago, 80 people. And at this time, we did make a hell of a lot of mistakes, which we still do. And, we moved services from Italy, for example. Was not working back. Okay. We moved services from Belgium. Was not working back. Then there was a big initiative from the Siemens CFO, okay, finance bundling. This helped us, of course, and clear definition, what are really the processes you do in a center and what stays in a country. In the meantime, we have nearly 900 people just in the GBS activities. And there we speak about record to report, which is linked to closing the Siemens books. Big one, big service line. Then we have tech services, and there the tech services we provide for Europe, but as well for Middle East. Then we have real estate services, completely again another service line, another kind of focus point, customer point. Europe, Middle East, Africa, North and South America. So nearly not everything in Asia, but quite a big footprint. So there we work as well shifts. And then we have controlling services. So this is all in R2R, and there we control the infrastructure costs of Siemens. So this is the one business line. This has also business line. This has more or less 400 people, so the biggest one. Then we have opportunity to cash. Very cool. And this was a complete another story. There we had to fight for our customers. It's really completely different. For one of them in the past was mandatory. For another ones, you have to go on the street fights and really to go to customer and manage the things. There we managed the complete process from putting the order in the system, following up the complete logistic process, and then get the cash, so cash collection. That's my role, cash collection, right? Cash collection from the customer. So this is another line with 130, 140 people. There we see a lot of growth opportunities because there's still a lot of activities outside. Then we have purchase to pay. It's just the opposite, putting the purchase orders in the system, managing the rest, and then pay. This is a very mature service line. And then last but not least, we have hire to retire, which is also from a footprint point of view, again, a little different. There we do a lot of countries in South and Middle Europe, North Europe. But we have as well now moved activities from South America to Portugal. That's so all in all, the complete footprint is close to 900 people. This is just the topic in regards to global business services. I think a very competitive footprint, and of course there we are just try to start based on our customer base, which we have in the business, to generate now as well for these businesses external business.
And why Portugal?
It's very competitive. Mm-hmm. The sun is shining how much? 320 days?
Around that.
Joke aside. I think
it's important.
No, it is important.
It's key,
you attract people much easier. People want to come. And competition, as competitive, I said already, this is important. In the beginning, just to speak maybe a couple of sentences about the tech hub.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning, that's important to talk
in the beginning, the idea was, this center in Portugal will have 100 people, max. And it's just, we take the external people out in Germany and move it to Portugal. This was the idea. And, we just give them the activities which we do not want to do. But don't underestimate the Portuguese people, right? So, of course, we recruited, obviously, always from a knowledge point of view, a little more than it was expected. And these people, they performed like crazy. And from the 100 people, we are now 1,200. But it's spectacular. If you see the portfolio, so we have cybersecurity, a center from 100 people, and there's 3 in the world, one in US, one in Portugal, one in Germany. We have data analytics. If we add everything together, nearly 200 people. And very cool things which we do there. So, for example, we started some years ago to take together with the business just a drone footage from a roundabout analyze it, which would normally someone would stand there and would click, right, and then give the information. So we analyzed it and then gave some input for the business, how they can manage it. And I believe now this gets live in some of the cities. So very cool stuff there. Then, and this is the biggest part, we're having our application lifecycle management. And there we do everything, from taking the demand, developing different kind of applications, and then also test the applications. So the complete, end-to-end cycle. And from the 10 most used programming languages, we have 8. What we don't have at the moment is C and C++. This is for firmware, which we do not do at the moment. Who knows? And then we have a lot of other things. So SAP, we are strong, and of course everything linked to cloud. Really, really broad, really strong. And what makes me really proud is, so first of all, of course, the people, and second of all, we are now seen as one top employer in the IT market in Portugal, which is what we want to be.
For sure. Oh, great. But regarding the key aspects for being competitive, I think talent and the weather, but it's another question. But we have been growing in terms of business services in Portugal, and a lot of demand for IT talent.
Yeah.
So now perhaps it's different from 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So now, how do you see the market? It's changing, continues to be competitive. You expect to grow even more in the.
So we expect to grow more in both, and what is really the beauty, we have now a different footprint. So in the past we had shared services where you process on the system. Now we have IT plus shared service, again everything linked to digitalization. So now we can get with both activities, we can get to the market perfect.
Yeah.
But yes, just to answer your question. Marketing in Portugal will get much more competitive, much more. So a lot of companies want to come because, and now the pandemic showed it clearly. You have your activities in India, and India was struggling a lot, right? And with digitalization, is it really at the end of the day what counts? The salaries? Probably not. It's about that you're cultural really close. And what we are really strong in Portugal is, and you know it better than me, is the innovation power. We had years ago, we had a competition on a worldwide level from GBS. 50% of the ideas coming to the final were coming from where?
From Portugal.
Portugal. And this with a workforce, if you compare to the rest, only from 10% of the global business services. This shows you the innovation power of the organization. And this is what we want. Right. But yes, competition will grow. And of course, salaries will grow because as well, cost of living are growing in Portugal because it's a very great country to live in.
Right. So as I see it, I'm not sure that I'm correct. You've been very quick in moving up in the value chain in terms of services. That probably gives you a little bit more breathing room in terms of salaries, because as you're moving up in the value chain, there are also you look for better talent, and you also have the return to be able to pay that a little bit more and whatnot. You were talking about the fight that you have to have for customers in certain areas of the business. I'm not sure if you can talk about it, but what are your competitors, let's say, in terms of fighting for these customers that you're trying to bring to Portugal?
Yeah. The topic is always, if we speak about our internal business, of course, the internal business you want to protect because they're the big five outside. Right. And they come with some serious dumping prices. They come to the board and say, I make everything 50% cheaper. But we know how these guys are working. Of course they're 50% cheaper. Then they kill you with claim management, which is then 70% more expensive. So this is, of course, one topic which we have to do. But of course, we have to get always better and better and better and make sure that we are really as competitive as the guys. But if you are one of the big five, you have a huge footprint in India. Again, this is competitive, but looking in the future, is it competitive? Because we need digitalization, much more digitalization. Because if you digitalize, your normal processing stuff is gone, or is in India, and you grow in the value chain. And this is really what we need to show as well externally. Because it's great that we work in Siemens. We know Siemens since day one. But now we have to prove, and this I really like to do, we have to prove if we are not just speaking, or is we really strong outside in the market as well. I believe we are, but it's the best benchmark which you can get as an internal service provider to get external customers, and having happy external customers.
Right, for sure. And what geographies tend to have? So apart from India, India is a special place in terms of this type of service. But there are other places around the world, also in Europe, that have been coming up as competitors in these areas, right?
Yeah. If you see Asia, it's India, as you said. It's Philippines. They're strong there. If you go to Europe, it's everything linked to Eastern Europe. And Portugal. Eastern Europe and Portugal. Eastern Europe and Portugal.
But Alf, what else we can do to be more competitive? If you were the economic ministry in Portugal, what would you do in order to improve the situation and to bring more sustainable business centers and tech hubs like Siemens?
Yeah. So, if I would...
Let's assume you have no constraints.
You are now appointed.
Thanks a lot. So what is still for the big multinational not great to see that energy prices in Portugal are still not competitive. At least that's my view. You might now say, okay, it doesn't make sense. This is not what we want to do. But I believe as well it would be great to have again more factories back in Portugal. But we are not competitive from an energy pricing point of view. Yes, they went, honestly, I cannot say just bad things. They went down, I guess, last year by 4 or 5%, which is great to see, but it's still if you see the complete scale, it's still too much on the left side, on the expensive side of energy. So there I would work. Great job of course, great job in everything which is linked to universities. This is really, I would still do this for sure. Okay. What is a little, a complex situation, again, with the golden visa and with attracting the talents from outside Portugal, perfect. You attract really the people, absolute perfect. But let's not forget the people which are working in Portugal. We have also to make sure it's attractive for them. Because, if I do the same job as my colleague from wherever he comes, and he's taxed so much and I am taxed much more, it doesn't make me happy.
Yeah,
right.
This is probably but again, this is,
Yeah, sure.
My main takeaway, which I would try to work on. So put this together.
Yes, to have not a two-system country, right? A country for a system for foreigners and a system for Portuguese.
If we, let's say, get expatriates from other countries on board, this is as expensive as if you put the expatriate to Germany, because the cost of living in the last couple of years went up tremendously.
Sure.
But again, what I see a big chance for us now with the home office. So we had let's say, we had before pandemic we gave the people the chance to work 2 days from home. So you could work 2 days at home, and so we were really quite well prepared for the pandemic. Now, we will say, you cannot come more than 2 days to the office.
It's changed.
So completely changed, and also we will for sure be much more flexible and give people the chance just to work from home. This makes makes a much bigger market. It's not just Greater Lisbon. From all of a sudden, it's Portugal. We have to make sure that we do not lose the innovation power. This is the only thing which would keep me a little awake in the night.
Yeah, so you have to come up with different and innovative ways for teams to collaborate, right, and still bring that innovation and that ability to produce new things. But on the other hand, you have the opportunity to dodge the prices, for instance, in terms of real estate and housing in Lisbon, right, and having people all over the country. And probably also it will help you attract better talent and more with, let's say, with more ability to contribute to the mission, right?
You know, it's a grand chance for us. So just imagine, just 2 months before pandemic was coming or hitting us, we were just elaborating if we, let's say, rent an additional building. So just the investment was really
huge,
a lot. So then I don't know, I had not the good feeling. I said, no, let's wait. Let's push a little more in home office.
Now it's completely different.
This
right?
would have been an overkill. Huh?
Yeah.
And I believe we have really to take the chances out now of this. Yeah. This is a brilliant opportunity. Why do I need to go to the office if I just speak to customers outside of Portugal or to different head office function outside of Portugal? Right. Doesn't generate value.
Yeah, but you mentioned that it's now easier to get people from all the regions in Portugal. And do you think we will at some point hire people from other countries? For example, in Siemens, Portugal, we will be hiring people outside Portugal with this new paradigm in terms of...
You know, I met a tax specialist some minutes ago, and he would agree. It is really complicated because if we would now, from a tax point of view, a no-go. At the moment, not. Okay. Clear no-go, because if you have people can only work, 30 days outside of Portugal. It's not the famous 180, 30 days. If not, you as a company must set up a permanent establishment, which means in every company, in every country, in every country, every city, and this is something really which is very complex. And the company like Siemens, probably another, would do it, but we would never be, let's say, on thin ice. Right. Clearly, if you work for Siemens in Portugal, you have to be based in Portugal. If you live in the Azores or in Porto and Lisbon,
you
perfect.
have to pay tax in Portugal.
Correct, so but not, that's just not on. We cannot do this. We would never do this.
Well, with the pressure, probably there will come up some new solutions for the taxing and all of these issues, right? Because it's kind of it's like when the movement is so strong, it's impossible to stop, right? And so you have to, in some way, find some fixes for this type of issues. Because at least from our perspective, the pressure on Portuguese talent will be bigger now than before, and we also have in Portugal a fairly small pool of IT talent that can be used, right? And so this will be a challenge for companies like Siemens, but most of all for other companies that are not in the international markets and don't have such a healthy business, right? Yeah. So that will be an issue.
You know, and I don't see it coming the same in Portugal, honestly. But I was living and I was working also for 5 years in South Africa. And at this time, there was this famous brain drain hitting South Africa. Means the also IT specialists at this time already, and this is now 20 years ago, they went to UK or places like this, and they got, of course, much higher salaries. And this is really very, very dangerous for a country if you lose your best talents to another let's say countries. This is not what we want to see. Of course, we will always make sure that we try to keep our best people, whatever this means. But there are a lot of companies out there which are putting completely crazy salaries there. Or this is one topic, but typically we would not lose. Honestly, we would not lose the people based on salaries. Doesn't mean automatically, salary is not everything. But there are a lot of companies which have very exciting business outside of Portugal, And maybe if you're really very strong and have seen a big company like Siemens, you want to see different other things. And this is the normal way. And I'm not worried, to have attrition from 10%. This we can
you
manage.
have a very small attrition, right? So it's nice to work at Siemens. People enjoy it, and there's not a lot of people leaving.
we still want to have attrition. So I would not like that anyone is working always in this. And attrition is two things, We also want that the people are doing different things. I do not want that someone, if he wants, okay, I will accept as well. But the chance at Siemens is you have a lot of open doors. You have a lot of possibilities to learn new things. For me, if someone tries not to learn things, he stands still. And if you stand still, you go backwards.
Yeah.
So really, really essential. And this is our kind of culture to, always give the people the chance to learn new things. And if they're always on the newest technologies, then of course, yes, they get much more attractive for the market. Okay, that's how it is. But yes, they're very happy to work for us because it's really cool business.
Yeah, Siemens is sufficiently big to provide a lot of different interesting challenges, right? And people value that, right? So let me just ask this. Taking the Tech Hub and the GBS, over the last few years, how many people have been recruited on a yearly basis? More or less, just an idea.
We have just... during the pandemic or since pandemic, which is now how much, 15 months, we have recruited 300 people.
And most of them are coming from academia or from are more senior people. And now linking to another question is how do you see the universities and the academia in Portugal? And what is also your relationship with them? And with the startups ecosystem. So I know that you take care a lot of about talent, and how do you manage the relationship with these two entities?
Yeah. So maybe first in regards to recruitment. So we recruit senior people, people direct from the university. We recruit people which we train them, which have not finished the university. But typically we have. I guess 80% of our people have university degrees, so this is number one. Then we have to every given time, we have more or less 100 trainees on board, which we have our own cloud academy, our own cybersecurity academy, our own, let's say, Mendix, which is a low-code platform academy. So we do a lot for these activities, and with the universities. So Fernando, as I said, is a good friend of mine, and I love to work together with the guys. Really, really great. Always open doors. I had once a bad experience. This was not in Lisbon. It was somewhere else, which I was I found it very arrogant how the guys deal with the situation. But okay, this is probably, you would get the same in UK or in Germany. But the rest really brilliant. Let's say interaction and always happy to work because you guys bring new ideas, new blood in, which is really essential. I think the education system in Portugal is great, and what is it's a big advantage that's the reason that my Portuguese is so good, right? that you guys speak so great English. This is really a big advantage. Go to Spain, go to France. Yeah. Go to Italy. So this is very, very special. And coming back to the startups, this is probably one reason. Again, cool weather, very, very highly skilled, clever people, and then Portugal is how can I say this? I believe the people in Portugal, they are much better salespeople than they're really great salespeople, because probably it's a small country. There is Spain on one side, and there is water on the other side.
For their life,
and that Portugal had always to come up with niche, or with niche products, and again coming back. For us, we always try in Portugal because we know it's working. We always try to be the pilots for everything, because in Portugal it will make it work. And this is probably also the reason that the startup scene is really, let's say, quite hot.
What's your relation with the startups? How do you see them? Do you promote them within Siemens? Do you build ecosystems to collaborate with them? Do you look at them and try to consider some buying of some of these businesses? What's the general policy?
Everything. All of this. You know, we have one organization on a head office point of view. It's Next 47. They're just focused on startups, and because, you know, the business of Siemens is linked to different portfolios, but these guys will just look into this, and maybe it's outside of the current portfolio, and it could be a great add-on. So this is, of course, very important to look in this, not to let's say, not take all the chances which are there. We try to create a lot of ecosystems. And honestly, in Portugal, I have really to move myself a little more. I have not done my homework there very good. I have really to do something. This is really a big topic for me still for this year. And of course, we try also to learn from them and to be together with them.
Oh, great. Taking consideration this critical asset that is the talent, the Portuguese talent, what is the key criteria when selecting people for Siemens, especially for Tech Hub? Is there any special topic?
What's the ingredient that you're looking for?
What's the main ingredient? For
you know, we look for team players. Remember, as Portugal was European champion, they won the game as Ronaldo went out.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's about teams. It's about service attitude. But you know, this is all what you can learn the people. So I would always get, when someone comes to Siemens, I would always get 20, 30 people together and just make sure that they really get the messages. And of course, our recruitment, we have a couple of processes. So we find the people, we get a lot of CVs, then we would scan them, then we would have interviews with them. And again, it's about team player. I do not need the best. I need someone which really wants to learn. I need someone which has the right attitude. I need someone which is, let's say, a good communicator. These are the key topics. I do not need the best of the best, because for me it's really a team can win anything. If you just have a lot of people working in silos and they do not want to work with each other, this will not help us. So this would be the topic.
So you have this baseline in terms of technical aspects, and then you have an interview with them in groups in order to see who has the attitude and can collaborate and can. Great.
And then we would of course see after, on a very frequent basis, how is the performance, how is the person fitting in the company. Training is for me essential. We invest a lot in training, and then really honest feedback. Could be that the person and Siemens is not fitting together. Then let's still be friends and let's separate. Or perfect fit, but maybe not in the tech hub, maybe somewhere else. Perfect. There's millions of opportunities at Siemens. We have to lever them. And really, for me, it's essential to speak to the people without barriers. Really open communication, and you have to live what you preach. So for me, for example, sometimes in Portugal I still see some conservative behavior. Means, I have my office, I have this, and we had a big change in one of our buildings. And I said, no office for me. What, no office? No, I sit with you guys.
I can testify to that, because last time I went there, you were in the middle of the room.
I cannot speak about collaboration I cannot speak about. Let's all be close together.
You are closer.
And I'm in my whatever
special stuff,
50 meter square meter office. That doesn't make sense. So this is really for me essential. One team.
Yeah, for sure. This is a nice segue for our next question, which is for your kids. What would be the advice that you give them moving into higher education or starting to work? What do you think are the advices, the characteristics, the things that you can tell them?
Probably I have to think what I should not recommend, and they will do it, right?
Sometimes it's easier.
You have to be careful because they might see this podcast.
If you say don't do, they go and do.
That was a big mistake, so please cut this out. So, it's essential to, from an education point of view, as hard as it sounds, without any kind of IT background, or let's say at least some kind of link to IT, it will get really complicated to get interesting jobs. This is one topic which I always try to preach. But again, they have much more IT skills than me. If something that works, they come here. So this is already quite good on track. And of course, it's always about languages. Even if it falls away with technology, probably the next couple of years. This is the reason that I'm not speaking Portuguese. And it's to see a lot of things, to see what's going on in other countries, to see what's going on in the world. So make a mistake, but try just to make it once.
Yeah. Learn from your mistakes. Be a citizen of the world, right? Speak many languages and learn some code.
Yeah.
These are all sound advices. Yeah, I subscribe to all of those.
Me too.
For sure.
Good. Yeah. Great, Alf. To finish our conversation, so it was great conversation. So to end, 2 or 3 recommendations for reading books that market you personal or in a professional way. Anything you want to recommend us?
Now I have to be careful. From a business point of view, and this is a book it's not even a book, it's really something very small, which I was really impressed. It's called Fish.
Fish.
Yeah, it's how on a fish market, I guess in Detroit or somewhere, or Boston, I can't remember now, how they made this place to extreme attractive place to work.
Oh, I never heard of that.
It's really just a small book. And I was reading this probably, as I said, 20 years ago. And it's just about how you change your processes, how you really or how you as an employee want to come to the fish place because you think it's the best company, and how the management is then, let's say, supporting this kind of thoughts. For me, this was for me a absolute eye-opener. Again, it's probably some people will laugh now and say, oh, it's really very cool. So if you get a chance it's really very, very fast, very cool. And they made afterwards the next fish or whatever. So it's really fish, very
Fish
cool.
is the topic.
Very cool book. And then, as a kid, I was reading, Huckleberry Finn. This was perfect. And then what was it, which was a little a strange one, but we see it now, 1984. Dark story. And what was really very sad one as well. So it seems like normally if I see movies, it will be some happy end, but the books I can deal in a better way. So what was it called, the color purple, or I guess it was a color purple. Yeah. So the really broad.
Good.
Good
recommendations. No, nice. It was great to understand your how your career went and how you came to Portugal and how Siemens grew in these 10 years. And also, it's interesting to see that the importance you give to the relationships, the responsibility, and the collaboration between people. So I think it was a great conversation. Fernando, I don't know if you want to add something.
It's always a pleasure to speak with Alf. It's always interesting. I hope that this podcast may encourage people to look at opportunities at Siemens, because it's a great place to work. I've been there several times, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know not only Alf, I know other people at Siemens. It's a great environment. I always have an excellent experience. And the objective was also to give some visibility to the Tech Hub, which I think it's an amazing effort and an amazing project, which I hopefully will continue to develop in the future and become something. It's already big, but something even bigger and more impactful in our country and society. So, Alf, everything that we expected as usual. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks to you. It was really great pleasure.
Thank you, Alf. So we got the recommendation for the economy ministry in Portugal. So many ideas for our kids, and so I only have to say thank you and to wish success for Siemens in the next
150 years.
So
we have a party then in 115 years. A big one.
No, thank you very much. Switching to português, e assim terminamos mais um episódio do Future Enterprise Show, uma iniciativa da IDC em parceria com a nova IMS, com o apoio da Nexcellence. Em breve voltaremos com mais um episódio. Muito obrigado e até breve.
Nexcellence by Glint, uma parceria para criar o futuro digital, com respostas baseadas em experiência, com dimensão e ambição, com uma visão global e talento nas competências mais inovadoras. Nexcellence, powered by Glint, knowledge to empower.